everybody?
Pranam.
Okay, good. Shall we start the class or wait?
You can start Swamiji. It's 2 o'clock.
Let us start with the prayer. This is on page 46 of Universal Prayers, the second one on that page 46 from the Vedas, Upanishads. Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviravir Maedhi Vedasya Manistha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasi Anena Adhitena Ahoratran Sandadhami Kritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May my speech be fixed in the mind. May my mind be fixed in the speech. O self-manifested Atman, do thou manifest thyself unto me. O my mind and speech, may you be fit to reveal unto me the highest knowledge. May I not forget what I have heard. Without forgetting what I have learned, may I be able to study day and night. The right will I speak, the truth will I speak. May Brahman protect me. May Brahman protect the preceptor. May Brahman protect me. May Brahman protect the preceptor. Om peace. Peace be within us all. Peace and harmony be amongst all. Peace be everywhere in nature. Did we finish Shloka 15 last time, Devi? I think
12, Swamiji. You finished 12.
yes.
Shloka 12.
15.
12, Swamiji. 12.
Oh, 12.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, the other class. Okay. Okay. 12 to 15. There, in those 4 shlokas, Bhagavan describes his presence in all, Sarvatmakatvam, he is self in all. This topic came in the 10th chapter. In the 10th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave very many examples of specific entities, things in which we can see God's presence clearly. In everything, there is some outstanding feature or quality specific to that thing, and that indicates the presence of God. For example, in the sun, its power to produce heat, light, and energy and sustain life, that is unique to the sun. No other object on this earth has that power. Sun has. That indicates God's presence. It's God's power in the sun that makes it possible for the sun to shine and sustain life on this planet. The same way, fire, ability to fire, ability of the fire to burn everything comes from the divine presence, God's presence in fire. Like that, we saw many examples. So here, the topic is continued in more detail in 12 to 15. So, shloka number 12. यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयते खिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्. Aditya Gatam Tejaha. Aditya means the sun. Teja means effulgence, power, brightness. The brightness in the sun, Teja, the power in the sun to illumine Aditya Gatam Tejaha, which illumines the whole world. Akhilam Jagat Bhasayate. Bhasayate means that which illumines. Akhilam Jagat, this whole world. That power is Mamak Tattejaha Mamakam Vidhi. That brightness, Tattejaha, know me to be mine. Mamakam means mine. That power which is in the sun is my power. The Lord is saying. In the same way, Yat Chandramasi. Yat Chandramasi. That power in the moon, Chandrama moon, which can convert the blazing sunlight into cool, soothing moonlight. That is due to God's power in the moon. Yat tatha yat agnau, agni, the fire. That power which is in the fire to burn everything, to produce warmth, that is God's power in fire. Warmth is very necessary. We need warmth for the life to sustain. If it is very cold, as in outer planets, life cannot be sustained. Too cold. Here on the earth, the conditions for life are optimum. Any other planet closer to sun, like Mercury and Venus, too hot. No life can exist there. Other planets away from the earth, like Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, no life. Too cold, too far away from the sun. So it's God's grace that we are placed in the most optimal condition conducive to sustaining life. That's why this human birth on this planet is a very special gift. This human birth on this planet is a very rare gift. Durlabham Trayameva etat. Shankaracharya says in Vivekananda. Three things are very rare to accrue to a person. By the grace of God, only these three things can happen. Daivanugraha hetukam. Among them, Manushyatvam, being born as a human being on this planet. If you are some being some other planet, you can't realize God. That Agnav, that power in fire to sustain life, to produce warmth and heat, burn everything, that is Mamakam Tejaha Vidhi. Know that power to be mine. Everything happens by the power of God in everything. Whatever any being does is due to divine presence in that being and God's power manifesting in that being in that way. Like electricity, one source of power manifests in different ways in different appliances. This example came last time. Electricity current is flowing in this building connected to the utility company supply line, power line outside. And in the building, it is so many appliances are there. All of them function by the power of electricity. In each appliance, electricity functions in a different way. In the kitchen upstairs, a toaster is connected to the electric line. So in that machine, electricity is possible to make toast. In the same line, coffee maker is connected. In the coffee maker, electricity helps us to make coffee. Different appliances, different functions, but power is the same. In the same way, in all the beings on this earth, one source of power, namely God, makes it possible for different beings to do different things. For example, birds can fly. The ability of the small bird, it is so autonomous. This little thing is there. It can fly in the air freely in 3 dimensions. It can go wherever it wants. So where is that little bird gets so much power to fly? God's power. But in people, it does not manifest. We cannot fly. God's power manifests in different ways. We do many things. We speak and we walk and do things, and many things we can do. Many more things we can do, which birds cannot do. So in different beings, same power of God functions in different ways. Human beings, it is maximum manifest. Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel, God's presence is most clearly visible in human beings. It's present in all beings, but not so clearly manifest in other beings. Like, for example, in a tree also God's power is there. In a tree, it manifests in a different way. The tree produces products such as fruits, flowers, and other products, taking input from the soil, fertilizer, air, sun. Sometimes the trees grow in wild, nobody puts any fertilizer or water, rainwater. Taking that input produces nice fruits and flowers, other products. The tree only can do. But what people can do, tree cannot do. What tree can do, people cannot do. Different functions, all powered by the one source, God's power, makes it possible in different beings, in different ways it manifests. That is the beauty of nature. Here, 3 examples are given in sloka number 12. Aditya, Chandrama, Agni. But many other examples. Everything in the universe does its own thing, functions in its own way by the power of God, one source of power. Then you go to sloka number 13. 2 more examples are given here. In sloka number 13. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamyaham Pushnami Choshadhi Sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha Aushadhi. Pushnami cha Aushadhi. Aushadhi Sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. Gam means Prithvi. It's an unusual word. Prithvi, Dharani, Gam, same synonyms. Avishya, entering or being present in the earth. What does earth do? Supports all beings. All animals, plants, and people, numerous other beings present on earth, all supported by earth. Earth provides everything. All of us come from the earth. Our body, everything, our food, whatever we use, whatever we have, is all from earth only. The clothes we wear, the things we use, our bodies are all from the earth. There's no other external source. And then our life happens our life drama happens on the earth. That is the stage, grand stage. From day we are born or before we are born till day we die, and even after we are on earth only. Everything goes back to earth. So that is the power of earth, supports everything. Sarvani Bhutani Dharayami. The Lord says, I am protecting, supporting. Dharya, Dhrutarane, to uphold, support. As earth, it has the special power of earth. Entering the earth, being present in the earth, Gam Avishya. Sarvani Bhutani Dharayami. How? Ojasa. Ojas means the power, God's power. Entering into the earth, with prowess I sustain all beings. So we have to pray to Mother Earth. In our Hindu tradition, Mother Earth, she's called Mother Earth. She is the mother of everything, everybody. You have to show great respect. We trample on the earth, everything we do, but we should pray to Mother Earth. Every morning there is a prayer to be said when we get up. First thing when we get up from bed, before we place our feet on the ground from the bed, We have to seek forgiveness from Mother Earth. Oh, Mother, I have no choice but to keep my feet on you. Please forgive me. You are the supporter of everything, supporter of all, like this. So the sloka has to be chanted. At least the prayer has to be said mentally before keeping the feet on the ground when we wake up first thing in the morning. Samudravasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnupatni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamasva Me. Kshamasva means please forgive me. Vishnupatni, O Mother Earth, divine consort of Vishnu, please forgive me. Padasparsham Kshamasva. I'm touching you with my feet. I'm placing my feet on you. Please forgive me. There's no other choice. Where else can I stand? I have to stand on earth. Samudra Vasane Devi. This whole ocean is her garment. Vasana means garment. Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale. The mountains are like her chest, bosom. Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamasvame. Like this, you have to pray to Mother Earth. We should not unnecessarily cause damage to our earth pollution, land pollution, throwing everything everywhere without respect for Mother Earth. That is not good. It's committing sin. Putting garbage everywhere on earth, dumping everything is disrespectful. We should not do that. We should prayerful attitude towards earth. Unnecessarily digging like that should not be done. Gama Vishya, entering, being present in earth, I support all beings. Dharayami, Bhutani Dharayami, all the beings. Second example in that sloka is Somo Bhutva Rasatmaka Soma. Soma means moon. Rasatmaka, moon is called Rasatmaka. It contains the essence. Rasa means essence. Essence of life. Moon has in it. Rasatmakaha Sama Bhutva, in the form of moon, which contains all the essence that supports life. Aushadhi Pushnami, Sarvaha Aushadhi, all plants. Aushadhi means medicine or medicinal plants or all plants. All plant kingdom is supported by moon. God in the form of moon, which contains the essence, supports all the beings. Pushnami means I nourish them. Poshanam means nourishment, nourishing. Pushnami chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Why all these examples are given? Many more were given in 10th chapter. Some were given in 7th chapter also. Same examples were given. The purpose why Bhagavan is explaining his presence in all these specific things, sun, moon, fire, earth, and moon, etc. The purpose is that we should cultivate the eye to see God in everything. We should see the presence of God in everything. That's the purpose why all these examples are being given. It's only God present in everything. We miss that. We see the name and form outside. The container we see. The content is God's presence that we generally miss. That we should see. That's why so many examples are given. Bhagavan explains nicely. See, in this I am present in this way. I'm doing this function. In this I am present in this way, doing that function. So many, like a very patient teacher. So many examples he gives to make us understand that he's present in all and we should see his presence in all. That's the purpose why these are being told. Sarvatmakatvam, he is the self of all. Now we go to very nice example, 14th one. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. Very important function. Annam Pachami. He digests the food for us. We eat nice dinner, lunch, breakfast, dinner, and snacks and everything. And that's our part ends there. But his part, his work begins. In being present in the bodies of all living beings, in plants, animals, people, what does he do there? Important function, digest the food that we eat. What is the digestion? Once we eat, then the other function is autonomous, is involuntary. We cannot do digestion ourselves. We eat and then the digestion is being done by the body. Who does it? The Lord. He is active 24 hours. People keep on eating all the time, in between meals and snacks and everything. But he is always working silently in our bodies, in the bodies of all living beings, in plants too, in animals too. He's working. How is he working? Vaishvanaro Bhutva. Vaishvanara means the Agni, fire of digestion, present in us. Vaishvanara is a form of Agni, power of Agni. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. I have taken up residence in the bodies of all beings. Prani means living beings, that which has prana, living being, in all living beings. Trees too. You take any tree like a mango tree or a banana plant, what does it produce? The mango tree produces nice, very tasty, nutritious mango. Only mango tree can produce mango. And same thing about the cow, animals also, especially cow. What it is in this country, cow is given all this cow fodder and is like a factory, assembly line. But in India, cows, whatever is available, vegetable peel that people throw away, and water in which rice has been washed, all these things on grass that grows in the field, they eat all these things and produce nutritious milk, very important product. What is the power in the cow that makes it possible for the cow to produce that wonderful nutritious milk? God's power. In everything he is there. We have to develop the eye to see his presence. In everything he is there. Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. Of all the pranis, living beings, I am there. Am Ashritaha. I have taken a precedence. What does he do there? Chaturvidam Mannam Pachami. Pachami means I shall digest. I digest 4 kinds of food. How does he digest that one? Prana Pana Samayuktaha. In association with the pranas, prana, apana. Prana means the vital Shakti, prana Shakti in all beings. We are living because prana Shakti is there in our body. Every function is made possible by the presence of prana, vital force. Even blinking of the eye, speaking, walking, eating, everything is made possible. Moving the sense organs, hands and feet, all prana Shakti. If that is withdrawn, no movement, nothing, body becomes inert. That vital force, that's why it's called vital force. That is his presence. Prana Pana Samayuktaha, in association with prana and apana. It has 5 functions. One prana Shakti being 5 different functions in the body. Prana means the breathing in and out, most essential function. Sign of life is breathing. The breathing stops, no life. That is because of God's power as prana Shakti in all the living beings. Apana means the power to eject waste product, very important function in body. If it doesn't work, problem will be there. It's very important to eliminate waste products. And he separates it. When the food is taken in, he does the digestion and gives all the nutrition to various parts of the body. Samana, one of the other function of prana is to samana, vyana. All over the body, energy is supplied to every cell, energy is supplied. Who does all that function? Divine presence, God's power in us. And then apana is another function. Ejection of waste material in the downward outlets. Udana means ejection of things upward, like If the body, by mistake, if eats something which does not agree with the body, it ejects forcefully. We vomit. Otherwise, that product will be there in the stomach, creating trouble. It has to be thrown out. That who does that one? The Lord, as Udana Vayu, upward ejection. Like this, all the functions, including digestion, prana, pana, sama, yuktaha, in association with the prana and apana functions of the prana shakti, chaturvidam annam pachami. I digest 4 kinds of food. What are the 4 kinds of food? They are explained in the commentary by Shankaracharya. Chaturvidam, chatushprakaram, bhojyam, bhakshyam, chosyam, lehyam cha. The English translation is the four kinds of food are what is masticated, swallowed, licked, and sucked. Licking, lelihana, like licking ice cream cone. How else can you eat ice cream? And drinking liquid, chewing solid matter, like that one. This is one way of classifying food. We don't classify generally using that classification now. We different classification, proteins and carbohydrates and that. Our classification is different now. All kinds of food. Chaturvidamannam pachami. He does that one. And that is God's power. Digestion, if it doesn't happen, how can we live? Most crucial function to sustain life. He's doing it all the time. We don't even know. Quietly he does it without complaining. In all the beings. Even if in the wicked people also digestion happens, he does not make any distinction. He's a wicked man, I'm not going to digest food, he will not say. Unconditionally, in every small ant also digestion happens. He does it. His presence in everything. Sarvatmakatvam. That's being described here. So what we should do? We should see everything as God's power. Everything as happening due to God's power. In order for us to open our eyes and to see his presence, all these things are being given. In how many ways he explaining this one? Chapter 7, chapter 10, here, in so many different ways, is coming the same message. See, I'm present here, I'm present here. See, we have to have the eyes to see. We don't see his presence, we see everything else. So that is the purpose why this being given. This was explained in the 6th chapter. 6th chapter, shloka number 30, important shloka, that we have to remember the content. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha na pranashyati. He who sees me in all and all in me, to him I will never lose. We are always in contact with God. We don't know that one. We are always in contact with God. He is present within us, in everybody, in everything that we use. You should develop that awareness. You should develop the awareness of God's presence. Practice in the presence of God. That is the reason why this all these examples are being given here. Chaturvedam pachamyaham. Then more clearly it is mentioned chapter 15. In the verse 15, 15 is something that we all have to specially pay attention to. 15, very important shloka. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kridveda videva chaham. So one more thing before I go to 15, going back to 14 a little bit, because it is God's power, God's presence in us that digests the food and helps us to sustain the body, sustain life in this body. We have to do eating as a worship. Is offering. Actually, it is offering to God. Ahuti. The fire of digestion is present here. When you put a morsel of food into the mouth, it goes to him. Just like doing Homa, Havana, when people do Havan, exactly same way. Fire is here already. And we put the ahuti. Every time we put in take in a morsel of food in our mouth, We are offering it to the Lord present within us. So it has to, it's a kind of worship, yajna. Eating is yajna. This we know from chapter 4, verse 24. Dharmarpanam Brahmavi, it's yajna. So eating has to be done with reverence, nicely, wearing a clean cloth. In earlier days, even also, when people eat, they change their clothes. Work clothes, when they come home from work, then they change their clothes, wash their hands and feet, and say a prayer and then eat. We should say a prayer before eating. Eating should be done as if it is worship. It is actually worship, not as if it is actually worship. With a prayerful attitude. And some people observe silence. They don't talk during meals, thinking about God. And we should not eat in irresponsible, watching television and something and talking all kinds of things and standing here and there. No, it's worship of God. It has to be done nicely. And also at the proper time, in the proper quantity. Moderation. Where did we study moderation in eating? The topic of moderation. How did it come? Which chapter? Chapter 6. Too much eating is not good. Too little eating is not good. Too much sleep is not good. Too little sleep is not good. Too much activity is not good. Workaholic. Too little activity is not. Where did we study? Chapter 6. Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantamanashnataha nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna yukta hara viharascha yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Which sloka number? Chapter 6. 2 slokas are there. Na ati ashnatastu yogosti. Look in the index.
Okay, so it's 16.
15?
16.
16, 17.
Yeah,
See, there is a line,
16,
first line
17.
index in the at the end of the book. 16, 17?
16, 17.
Okay, here it is. First line index at the end of the book. So if you know how the sloka begins, na ati ashnatastu. You go to the first line index and look under na. Yeah, tata dharna. You have to use this index. Natyashnatastu yogosti. 16. Sloka number 16 chapter. See, this first line index is there at the end of the book. How the sloka begins. So you have to start to learn to use that first line. Natyashnatastu yogosti. Atyashnataha. For a person, it's too much. For such a person, yoga is not possible. Nachaikantam anashnataha. For a person who does not eat enough. People are so conscious of their weight, they don't eat enough food. So that is also not good for spiritual practice, moderation. So all these things have to be noted because eating is actually worship. It's actually worship. I knew one person, I think I gave the example before. And that person was not speaking during meals, no conversation. And he would observe silence. And his wife knew how much to serve. And he would not say more or less or anything. No, he would simply, she would serve the exact right amount that she knew. And he would eat it. And not only that, after putting before putting every morsel into the mouth, he would say name of God. Before putting a morsel into the mouth, he would say name of God. Om Narayana Namaha. Eat one food. Then no conversation. Chew the food. Next time, before taking the next morsel, Om Sri Krishnaya Namaha. No conversation. Remembering God, chanting God's name. That was, we don't have to do like that, but we should keep our mind generally on God while eating with respect, with reverence as worship. Everything has to be done as worship, not only eating in general. So that idea has to be kept. That's why this sloka is given here. Chaturvidamannam pachami. Now coming back to sloka 15. Sarvasya chaham nirdisannivishto mattasmriti jnanamapohanam cha Vedaisha sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta kridveda videva chaham. This idea that he is present in all comes very frequently in the Gita, in many chapters. Sarvasya hridi. Hridi means in the heart. Hridi, hrit means hridaya. Hridi means saptami ekvas. In the heart of all, sarvasya of all beings. In the heart of all the beings. Sarvasya hridi. In the hearts of all the beings, aham sannivishtaha, I am present. What more directly, how much more directly can you say? So many times repeatedly I said I am present, I am present. Now I make general say, in the hearts of everybody I am present. That message is coming to us so many times. We have to imbibe it and try to see God's presence. Sarvasya hridi aham sannivishtaha, I am present in the hearts of all, no exception. In the hearts of wicked people, in the hearts of elephants and animals, ferocious animals, in tiger, in everyone, male, female, young, old, educated, uneducated, he is present. Unconditionally he is present. In some he is more clearly visible, and some he lies hidden. Why the difference? Because it depends on the person's personality. Some people have purified their mind by leading pure lives, so their presence of God in them becomes more clearly visible to others also. We call them holy people, Mahatmas. And some people don't do anything to either know God's presence or don't even believe in it, and they neglect it. So in them he is present, and he is present, not absent in them, but we are not able to see. Neither they know God's present in them, they are not interested. And neither can outside other people see God's presence in them. Its presence is hidden under layers of ignorance, but he's there nonetheless. Smattaha, from me, all things happen because of his presence. And three things are mentioned here specifically because of God's presence. Mattaha means from me. Three things: smriti, jnanam, apohanam happen by him. Smriti means what? Memory, recollection. The word smriti came in an earlier chapter. 10th chapter, Sri Krishna says, women have very good memories. I mentioned the shloka. Many people, only one person responded. Last time I said, where in the Gita, Sri Krishna has said women have very good memories. Only one Mataji responded. Shloka number 34, chapter 10. Their word smriti comes. Only one person responded by email. Last time I said in the class, Bhagavan has said women have very good memories and speech and articulate and kshama and all those good qualities. That shloka we have to know, 1034. See, Mritis, Mriti Vivekcha, Vakchanarinam, Smriti Meda, Dhritik Kshama. Like that. Anyway, that's a different matter. Smriti, all the ability to remember is because of God's power in us. Some people have very sharp memories, like Swami Vivekananda had the fantastic memory. By looking at something once, he could remember. No, doesn't have to read a second time. There was an incident where he knew. Somebody asked him what is on such and such a page of the Encyclopedia Britannica. He said that on that page, this is there. How is it possible for ordinary people? Mind was so pure and sharp. By looking at it once, hearing once, it will be there, recorded in their memory. Likewise, people like Swami Turiyananda, he memorized all the major Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Vikachudamani, Chandi, everything was on the tip of his tongue. How? Mind is so pure, so clear. Reading, hearing once, it will be there in their mind. So that is special power of to remember is because of God's presence. Matta smritihi. Our ability to remember things is because of God's power. Second thing is jnanam. ability to know things, knowledge. We gain knowledge. That's made possible by God's presence. We can gain knowledge. Animals don't have that power. Their knowledge is limited. By instinct, they find out where food is, how to build nests. Birds can build fantastic nests. Fantastic feat of engineering you can see in the birds. The scientists have studied that one. Structural engineering people study in schools and universities many years, but without any that study or anything, birds can build very engineering feats. Nests they build so nicely, structurally sound and safe for the eggs and the small birds. That ability to gain knowledge is because of God's presence. Jnanam. Apohanam, forgetting, is also because of God's presence. Why forgetting is because of God's presence means it depends upon how we use our mind. The commentary it is explained why forgetting is also because of God.
So what's the root word here, Maharaj? Is it Hani or Hanam?
Huh?
Hani is like loss, now. So Apohanam, what is the root word here? Hanam?
Apohanam, apagamanam, he said, it did not give the root. I can tell you later in another book. Apagamanam, so apagamanam means, let me read the see in the commentary Shankara, Jnanam apohanam, apagamanam, yesham yatha, punya karmanurodhena, jnana smrti bhavataha. For those who do good deeds, punya karma, for them, memory and knowledge will come, jnana smrti will come. Tatha, papa karmanam, for people who do bad deeds, sinful deeds, papa karmanam, aham eva paramatma, papa karmanam, papa karmanurupena, smrti jnanayoho apohanam. That means, the English translation, in the case of wicked people, according to their evil deeds, there occurs the disappearance, slipping away of jnana and of these two. That means they cannot remember things, and then they cannot gain knowledge because their minds are clouded with evil thoughts. Those who do evil deeds, papa karmana. All that happens by the power of God. Smarta smrti jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvairahameva vedyo. By the Vedas, by the Vedas, Vedya means something that is to be known. Vedya means something that is the object of knowledge is Vedya. What is the subject of all the Vedas? God. If you know God, we study the Vedas. Now Vedas comes to us in a simpler form. Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and simpler scriptures, Puranas are made simpler, simplified for us. But knowledge of God is the content of the Veda. Main content of Vedas is knowledge of God. I want to be known by the Vedas. Sarvaihi Vedahi, by all the Vedas, Ahameva Vedya, I am to be known. I am the one to be known. Vedanta Grid, Ahameva. He is the one who creates Vedanta. All knowledge was created at the time of creation by the Lord when he brought the creation into existence. At the same time, he created knowledge also. That was revealed to the great rishis. And then the rishis, they conveyed it to their students, and they to their students, and now from our teacher, we are getting that knowledge in an unbroken stream of parampara, Guru Shishya parampara, we call it. That means disciple-student succession, unbroken succession. In our case, this was mentioned in the 4th chapter. The Lord himself created knowledge, and he gave the knowledge to Vivaswan. Let me go to sloka number in chapter 4, number Vivaswan manave praha manurikshva kame bravit. Where is number 4? It comes in the beginning of chapter 4. Remember the sloka number. Janma karma cha kaunteya. Okay, sloka number 1 in chapter 4. How knowledge came to us from God. He is the originator of God. He created knowledge. And he taught it to his first generation, and those people taught it to subsequent generations. This is mentioned sloka number 1. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha madurikshvakave bravit. How knowledge came from God himself. Origin of knowledge is God. This immutable yoga. Yoga means all knowledge, how to know God. Yoga means how to know, the path to know God. I imparted to son, Vivaswan. So Lord created the knowledge and gave it to son, first generation student, first student, who declared it to Manu. Son taught it to Manu. First human being is Manu. We are called Manavas because we are the descendants of Manu. Manu proclaimed it to Ikshvaku. And in Ikshvaku and other rishis, we got it.
Vivaswan is son.
Yeah.
That's a name for
Yeah.
son.
Vivaswan is son. Vivasvate Adityaya. Right. So, Vedanta Krit, coming back to this sloka number, where we study 15. Vedanta Krit means the Lord is saying, I am the creator of the Vedanta, all knowledge of God. Vedanta Krit, Veda Videva Chaham, I am the knower of the Vedas. He is the creator, he is the teacher, he is the knower, he is the object to be known in the Vedas, everything. So first thing to be, important thing to be noted in this 15 is the first part only. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. That one thing, if you remember and practice, that is enough. Here I am present in the hearts of all. That's all. A short sentence, phrase only. 1/4 of this sloka is enough. Main content. I am present in the hearts of all. So when we see somebody, we should try to see God's presence in that person. And then extending to other beings, not only people, animals and plants and inanimate objects too. That's why when we deal with inanimate objects, we have to be gentle, nicely. We should not throw things carelessly after using something, whether it's a broom or some other utensils or a book or any other instrument or whatever we use, nicely keeping it in its place after using it. Divine presence. That's not able to complain. If you ill-treat a person, they will complain like this. But the inanimate objects, they don't say. So we have to gently deal with animals and plants too. You have to be very kind and gentle towards animals, not ill-treat animals. Animal cruelty is very bad. In this country, it is a punishable offense, cruelty to animals. But some people take pleasure in torturing animals. I don't know what kind of people they are. That should not be done. God's presence in the animals is there. And plants also. Gently, nicely, we should take care of plants. Divine presence is there in the plants. That's how plants are able to produce all the products, nourishing human beings and other animals. Divine presence in all. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. Important point to be noted. Now we go to sloka number. From 16 to 18, 12 to 15 we saw divine presence in all. One topic. 16 to 18 is the Supreme Lord is being described here. Who is the creator and Lord of everything. Purushottama is being, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Purushottama is being described in 16, 17, and 18, 3 shlokas. Purushottama is being described, Supreme Lord, Paramatman. In Vedanta is called Brahman. In the Yoga it is called Paramatma. In the Puranas and other scriptures it's called Purushottama. Same ultimate reality. Purushottama, personal God, Supreme Purusha, easy to relate to. It's difficult to relate to Brahman. No name, no form, pure consciousness, Sachidananda. How to relate to Brahman? No name, no form, no guna, no attribute. But Purushottama we can relate. God in human form, he will come. Vishnu will come in human form. in the form of all the avatars, not only in the form of all holy people, in all people he is coming. You can recognize God's presence very easily in human form rather than in other forms. He is present in all. He is present in the tree also. He is present in the table also, but we don't see God's presence in the table that easily because we think it's an inanimate object simply standing there. But if human being is there, living vibrant presence of God. Swamiji Vivekananda wrote a poem. There, it's called The Living God. Swami Atmagyanji gave a series of lectures on Swamiji's poem some time ago, Sunday lecture. This poem is called The Living God. There, Swamiji says, where do you worship God? Generally, people go to temples to worship God. There, the Vishnu is there, Vishnu, Shiva, Ganesha, Parvati, Rama, Sita, everybody is there. We worship them. So Swamiji says, you are neglecting God's presence in the person sitting next to you. And you're worshipping God in the image. That's not true worship. True worship is showing respect to the human being sitting next to, serving the human being. Break all other idols, see divine presence, the vibrant living presence of God in human beings. Without seeing that, which God are you worshipping? He asks in that point. So that is what we have to see, divine presence in all. So that divine Purushottama is present in all. Every one of us, unconditionally. He may not be aware of his presence right now, but we can become aware of his presence. That is potential in human beings only. Only human beings have the capacity to become aware and experience his presence within each one of us. The special power is given to human beings. And we have to do that one. That's the purpose of human life. We have to know God, experience his presence. Otherwise, the life will be wasted. So that is explained in shloka number 16 to 18. Purushottama. 16. Tvavimau purushau loke ksharascha eva cha ksharas sarvani bhutani kutastokshara uchyate. Loke means in this world. The world of human beings, animals, and plants. Imau means these two. Purushau means beings. Dvav means these two. Dvav imau, these two beings are present in this world. Dvav imau purushau loke. Here Purusha.
Why is he saying that there are two types of beings? Beings are all perishable, except for the super, except for God. So why is he saying Brahmana Purusha Loki?
The word Purusha is in a different sense here. The word Purusha, like the word Atma and Yoga, have different meanings. Purusha here does not mean beings in the sense in which we understand. Two categories we can say. Purusha can mean two categories or two entities. Not beings, human beings like that one. Purusha is very misleading. Purusha can mean Parabrahman also. Paramatma is also Purusha. Jivatma is also called Purusha. Any person is called a Purusha. So the meaning is different in different contexts.
Okay, but Loke means this world, right? In this world.
Two kinds of beings are there. Two things are there. Okay. Two categories, you can say categories are there. But it's translated as person because Purusha means the different meaning here. Dvavimau Purusha Loke. There are two things in this world. What are they? Ksharaha, Aksharascha. Kshara means perishable things. Akshara means imperishable. Most things are perishable. Akshara means imperishable. Imperishable is only one. We knew Akshara from earlier chapter. You remember? Akshara came. Definition of Akshara came in chapter 8. The beginning of chapter 8, Arjuna asked 7 questions in 2 shlokas. The first question was about Akshara. Long ago we studied chapter 8, you have forgotten, so we have to go back. What is Akshara defined there already? Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Shloka number 3. Yes. chapter 8, sloka 3, akshara was already defined there. After a long time, it has come again. Aksharam Brahma Param. Param Brahma is all akshara. Supreme reality, Brahman is akshara. Akshara means imperishable. Na ksharati. Iti. Does not perish. Ksharati means that which perishes. All bodies are ksharas. Because all bodies perish, including the sun. Not only human beings, animals, plants. The whole of nature, things in nature, mountains and planets and stars, they all perish. Kshara. Kshara sarvani. No, that's a next line. Kshara sarvani bhutani. All beings are kshara, means perishable. They come and go. They have beginning and an end. And in between they change, degenerate. Kshara sarvani bhutani. All beings undergo 6 changes that you know earlier. Of them, first is Janma, last is Mrityu or Nasha. They're all Kshara, one category. They're familiar to us. We don't have to worry about Kshara. Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. What is Akshara? There is said Param Brahma, Aksharam Param Brahma in chapter 8, sloka number 3. Here it says, Kutastha Akshara Uchyate. Kutastha means that which does not change, does not perish, remains same. The example of the word Kutastha is explained somewhere else. I saw. If you go to a blacksmith shop, they have an anvil. It's a huge, big, heavy iron thing, a table. Almost the workpiece is kept, very hot, red hot glowing workpiece is kept. And then with a hammer, the blacksmith gives it this shape. That table, the stable thing which does not change, which holds the work, supports the work, that is called Kutastha. That means it does not change, remains stable no matter what happens. All other things change. Somewhat like that. This should not be taken literally, but to convey an idea. Kutastha akshara uchyate. The imperishable is immovable, does not move. Does not move, does not change, has no beginning, has no end. And all the ksharas perish. When the ksharas perish, the akshara remains imperishable. That we studied before in 2nd chapter. Remember where? When the bodies die, Atman does not die. Nahanyate, hanyamane, sharire. Sharira is akshara. Sharira means all perishable bodies, human bodies, animal bodies, everything. When the bodies die, what happens to akshara? He remains unaffected. Atmana hanyate. Chapter 2, sloka number 20. 220, important sloka. If you memorize, it will be good. Najayate namriyate va, yadayate mriyate va kadachit, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. That Paramatman is, akshara is, no birth, najayate, does not take birth, always present. Namriyate, does not die, always present. Ajaha, birthless. I am Shashvata, permanent, eternal. Purana, ancient. Nahanyate, hanyamane sharire, 220. When the sharira goes away, dies, as it necessarily will, at some point, Atmana hanyate, akshara does not die. This way is called akshara, imperishable. That is present in us as a part of us. That's the main part in us. The bodies come and go, our Atman remains unchanged, eternal, no birth, no death. And that's our true identity. That is what we truly are. But by mistake, we think we are the body and the mind. We are the Atman. That's what whole Vedanta says, same thing in one simple sentence, Tattvamasi. You are that Atman. In Upanishad, the language is very, very succinct. Not many words, short sentences. Here, explanation is given in the Puranas and Upanishad, in the Gita. Kutastha uchyate. In every one of us, the divine presence is there, which is imperishable. There's akshara. So we already know this from the 7th verse. In this chapter 15, our personality was described, how we are, each one of us is made. Chapter 15, sloka 7, The same thing has come. It's all repetition, no new information here. Each one of us is made of two parts. Chapter 13 also, Kshetra, Kshetrajna and Paramatma. All these come before, but here in this chapter is again mentioned here nicely. Chapter 15, Shloka 7, he said, Mama evamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Mama evamsho, my part alone, but God. He is present in all, along with the manushtani indriyani, 5 organs, mind and all those things. That's what we are, complex combination of Akshara, Akshara, perishable, imperishable. Our true nature is that imperishable. This Kshara part comes and goes, the body, mind, that changes also. So Kshara sarvani bhutani kotastokshara uchyate. Here in the commentary, Akshara is defined in this way. The second imperishable person, Akshara, opposed to the first, Kshara, perishable, the Lord's power of Maya. God is present. His power, Maya, is present in us. That's what makes us appear differently. Changes are happening in the Ksharas. All the Ksharas appear to be different, not knowing their true nature. This all power of Maya covers our true nature. Maya means something that avarana shakti. It covers our true nature is Atman. That's what we are, even now, always been. But that is covered by the body mind. Oh, I'm the body mind. Atman is there, not visible, hidden. So that power of Maya is present in us as Akshara. That's another Shankara's view here. A Lord's power of Maya, the seed whence the first group springs up, on which depend the cravings, acts, and impressions of the numerous beings that transmigrate. Anyway, the summary of this sloka 16 is, in all of us, two things or two aspects are there. As you studied in chapter 13, Kshara, the perishable part in us, Akshara, imperishable Paramatman in us. The same Paramatman appears to be divided into so many different beings. Not really. That we studied in chapter 13, Sloka 16. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam ivacha sthitam. See, Paramatman is all one, infinite, can't be broken into parts. But he appears to be divided into different beings. He is separate, I am separate, you are separate. That is because of his power of Maya to conceal the truth. Why does he do that one? Because why there is no answer? It depends upon whom you ask. If you ask a devotee like Sri Ramakrishna, why God created this separation, make everybody different, pain and suffering, and all the kinds of difficulties, why? Why not we all realize God and be happy? He says, Sri Ramakrishna says, it is Divine Mother's play. Divine Mother wants the game to continue. And somebody said, it's game for her, but suffering for us. Then he said, who are you? If you know that we are Brahman, there is no play, there is no suffering, there is no. The ignorance of our true nature is the cause of all suffering in our life. That's why Atma Jnana is important. Knowledge of the self is important. Solution to all problems. Anyway, coming back to this one, the imperishable part is Supreme Reality Brahman, present in all, appears to be divided, but really only one. Only one Kshetrajna and all the Kshetras. See, one thing to remember is, one divinity appearing as many. Why you can say power of Maya? There's no clear answer. Maya is something cannot be explained clearly. One divinity present in all, appearing to be different, separate, different. How? One infinite space, vast continuum, no limit, appearing to be different in different containers, different shape, different size, different function, different name. Same one space, in the same way, one divine presence in all. That's the main point to be noted. This was all clearly mentioned in one line in the Gita. One line, you have to remember. 13 chapter, 2nd shloka. There it says, kshetrajnam chapi mam nidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all the kshetras, sarva kshetreshu. Kshetra means a body. Can be human body, animal body, plant body, nature body. In all the bodies, sarva kshetreshu, kshetrajnam mam kshetrajnam vidhi. Ma means me, singular. God is singular, only one God is there. I am the one present as the kshetrajna. One kshetrajna, infinite number of kshetras. Sarva kshetrashu mam kshetrajnam vidhi. 13.2. Kshetras are many. What is kshetra? Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. 13th chapter, first sloka. This body, O Arjuna, is called kshetra. This body, all, how many bodies? Infinite number of bodies. If you count all the ants and all the animals and all the trees, how many? Infinite number. They're all kshetras. In all of them, only one kshetrajna is there. That's the beauty of creation. One present in all. So that is being explained here. Now these two, kshara, akshara, two things are there. However, above these two things, one Paramatman is there, Purushottama is there. Same thing in 13th chapter. Kshetra, kshetrajna, Paramatma. Kshara, akshara, Purushottama. Same idea. So sloka number 17. Oh, already exceeded time. I didn't look at the clock. So let us read 17 and.
Akshara is said to the
Huh?
Paramatma, right? Akshara. That is
Akshara means imperishable.
But that is Paramatma.
He is present in all. Only one.
Is that the Paramatma?
Yeah. Aksharam Brahma Paramam, defined in chapter 8, sloka number 3. Aksharam is Brahman.
You are telling three things, Para, Akshara and Paramatma. But actually,
Same one appears to be separate in different bodies. He is seen differently in different people, animals and plants, but is only one. Like space. In different cups, different containers, big, small, shape and size, space appears to be different. In a green cup, space appears to be green. But space is neither green nor yellow nor white. It's colorless. Depends on the color of the container. So like that. One appearing as many. Only one. So let us do 17 read and do it next time. Uttama Purushastvanyah Paramatmetyudahritaha Yolokatrayama Vishya Vibhartyavyaya Ishvaraha. Anyaha means other than Kshara Akshara. Uttama Purushaha, Supreme Purusha, Purushottama. Uttama Purusha means Purushottama. Paramatma iti udara, is known as Paramatma. Is Paramatma. So we'll study that next time. We'll stop here with the sloka number 17. Let me say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from all kinds of suffering, ill health and other problems. May all realize and practice what is noble and auspicious and dharmic. May no one be subject to any kind of misery or suffering. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. May there be peace everywhere in nature. Harihi Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well. Thank you. Nice to see all of you. God willing, see you next week. Some people here have memorized chapter 15, and you have to, some of you have to also memorize chapter 15. Maryland people are already memorized, two of them. Let me see, North Carolina, Houston, Michigan people.
Pranam Swamiji.
Namaste.